Really an honor to be able to present this award, because perhaps no person has done more for the children in Brooklyn, the Jewish children, than Rabbi Rosenberg, who has spoken out. And I want to tell you something. Rabbi Rosenberg's reputation is that he has gevura. He's a gibor. He stands up for what's right, and he doesn't care if some people don't like it. And he's been harassed, he's been threatened, but he does what he knows is right, and he's fearless. But what some people don't know is that there's another side to Nochum, and I've been able to witness this myself. I was in court for the sentencing of a man who molested dozens, maybe hundreds, of children over the course of decades in Brooklyn. And Nochum helped the victim, the only victim, well, there were actually a few victims who came forward, but the one who came forward, and this was a young man who was in his early 20s, just in time before the statute of limitations ran out. And he was a young man who was suffering from mental problems, from drug abuse because of what had happened to him. And when that young man's father was speaking at the sentencing and saying that all the people who have Rahmanas on the abuser, where were they when he was abusing my child? Where don't they have Rahmanas? And I saw Nochum crying like a baby. Nochum, his gevura comes from Chesed. And it's an honor to present this. It says it's a mezuzah, because just like a mezuzah protects our house, Rabbi Rosenberg is protecting our community. Presented to Rabbi Nochum Rosenberg Shlita for his dedication and holy work on behalf of our children, October 24, 2010, National Jewish Week for the Prevention of Child Abuse.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's been an honor to see such a lovely crowd. I can say what David HaMelech said, "Hinay matoy v'manuim sheves achim gam yuchad." We're sitting here together like one person with one thing in mind, to protect our children. I first want to give my congratulations to the Jewish Board of Advocates, who work very hard. I work along together with them. I know what they're doing. We discuss things. They're special people. If they were able to turn this city around in the 180 degrees, most of the Jewish organizations and the rabbis were not with us. They were against us. And what happened is that these people came in and they turned them around like this, and now we're going the right way. It's unbelievable and incredible how they did it in less than 2 years. And you know what this is telling us? It's sending us a message that the city and the people are already with us. And another thing, it is showing that these gentlemen are very courageous. You know, when we finish the war with pedophiles, I have a good job for you people. That's to go to Israel, and you're going to make friends between the Jews and the Arabs. You're going to turn everybody around, and we will have no more war. Okay. Now, I would like to also say I accepted this plaque not on my behalf. I'm not the hero. I feel that I did what Hashem tells everybody to do in the Torah, and also what a Gentile, a non-religious person, would do as respect to a child which has nobody that takes care of him. So there's no heroic things that I did. I did what was humanity plus Torah. The only thing why I'm accepting this plaque is this should really be given to the heroes of the parents who come out, to the heroes of the boys that come out, like we heard Joel Engelman and other people. These are the real heroes. And because there are so many victims, it's impossible to keep, this plaque, give everybody a small piece. So I am going to be the shomer. I will watch on it, and I will watch that these people should have a mezuzah guiding them the whole life through. I also want to say that I'm accepting this on the behalf of my wife, who is here, and my children who are here, because nobody knows what we went through the past 3 years. Phony calls, day and night, threatening calls, anything that you can think of. So I'm accepting this on their behalf. I want to give now a small brief introduction of what we did the past 3 years. 4 years, I've been writing letters to rabbis, what's happening with sexual abuse, with children, boys in yeshivas, and in the mikvahs, and girls in the schools. It fell on deaf ears until one rabbi in Borough Park called me up. He says, "Rabbi, why are you wasting your money to write these letters? It's coming into the enemy. We are your enemy. We take these letters, we throw them in the garbage. You'll never get any place. It's costing you $5,000 or $6,000 every mailing." And I said, "Well, what should I do?" He says, "Education. Educate the public." So I opened a hotline, and because of it, I started to educate the people, and I had the courtesy that they threatened me to shoot twice, and they did. There's a bullet mark in my head which will stay with me for the rest of my life, but it grazed the brain because it was going from a flying car. So at the end of the day, I'm still around. And when Mark Wise was saying that about Shidduchim, I want to tell you something. If there was not God watching over us, I wouldn't have been here. So we're not worried about any of these Shidduchim and anything. We know God is watching over us. Instead of being appreciated by the community, I was ostracized by 37 rabbis. It was written in all the newspapers for weeks and months. The whole city was full of posters with the ostracization papers. I, until today, have no place to daven, and I have no place to go to the mikveh. I'm thrown out from every shul in Williamsburg. Maybe in Borough Park too, I haven't tried it. I walked the bridge on Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur and Shabbosim to Manhattan to the Bialystok Synagogue. So this is the life that is happening. And on the other hand, the pedophiles have where to daven. Not only do they have where to daven, they give them mafter in the shuls. And somebody comes in, a pedophile, and I tell him, this man is a pedophile, he's dangerous. He says, well, we made a deal with him that he can't use the mikveh and he can't use the bathroom. So that means to say that in the women's shul, he can't rape somebody, or he can't molest somebody in the storage rooms down there. It's idiotic of what's happening in the community. Now, I keep on my hotline, I educate people. I have about 20,000 listeners on the Yiddish hotline and about 18,000 listeners on the English and about 4,000 in the Hebrew. And all I do is I educate the people, and I educate the mothers and the fathers. Be close to your children. Pat your child on the back and say, there are green lights where you can cross, there are red lights where you can't cross. So in the same time, your body has green parts and red parts, which means nobody's supposed to touch it. Nobody, and even your Rebbe. Because we teach the children to have respect for the rabbis. And therefore, when the Rebbe touches him, he feels it's out of respect. He doesn't say anything. I have taken out maybe 40% of all youngsters from the mikvahs. Mothers don't let the children, because I explained to them, what are they doing in the mikvah? They're just a target. If they don't fast Yom Kippur, they don't put on film. So why do they have to go to the mikveh? So they are targets for pedophiles. And people are listening, and they keep on telling me that children under 13 very seldom now go to the mikvahs. And this is the education that I give them. To my house comes hundreds of problem boys that were molested. 90% of them become apikurs, and they don't believe in God. And I keep on asking him, what happened? Why don't you believe in what they taught you? He says, very simple, the same Rebbe that taught